Hi there. In our devotion today, I want to take you to First Timothy chapter 6. I want to read from verse 6 onwards. But godliness with contentment is great gain, for we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. People who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge men into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. Here, Paul, the apostle, is writing to his spiritual son and a young pastor, Timothy, in his first letter, with all the advices he gives. He gives the importance of being careful about the temptation of becoming very rich. It is not wrong to have money. Money, you can do a lot of things with it, but what is the place that money takes in your life? And that is very important. You cannot serve God and mammon, Jesus said. Same thing Paul is writing to the young pastor. He says that Timothy, you have to be careful. You have to learn to be content with whatever God has provided for you. That does not mean he is not supposed to work and make a living. It is important that we work because Bible is against being lazy. And so we have to learn to work with our hands and live a peaceful life. But some people have given more importance to get rich, to give importance more for money. Because Bible says in verse 10, for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. And so we have to have a balance of understanding that we have to have a godliness and that with contentment. In these days, in these last days, that there is a temptation that people, even the religious people, are falling into is the love of money. And they do this because they can gain a lot of things, power through the money. But we have to learn to take the advice of Paul in our lives. Let me read it for you. He says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Why? He says, because we brought nothing into this world and we can take nothing out of it. And because of that, we have to watch. All we need in our life, the most important thing, Paul says, is that if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. Jesus himself promised that God the Father will know what you need. He will provide. If he clothes the flower in the field so beautifully, and if he feeds all the birds, then he knows how to feed his children. And he promised that you are more than that. So we have to learn to put God first and trusting God first and work. And it is important that we have to keep that in balance. Some people in these last days, they give more importance to money and they fall into a temptation and a trap. And by doing that, it's very difficult because it says it'll ruin and it'll bring destruction in their life. And it'll take you to a place where you may have to reject your faith. It says, have wandered from faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. So let us be careful in giving importance. Seek first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. God is faithful, and you can put your trust in Him and rely on Him. Give first priority to Him and trusting the Lord, because He is the one who provides for everyone. And so this morning, I pray that you have the wisdom to live a life that is content. Like Paul said, but godliness with contentment is great gain. God bless you as you enjoy every day His presence in your life.